Welcome back to the Snow Point Cast. Today we've got a game between myself on the right and Trevor Read on the left. We got two decks from 2009. Trevor's going to be playing Speedrill, the deck that won Worlds in 2009. Very, very good deck. And then I'm going to be playing MotherGar. Bit of an old list. I've definitely changed my MotherGar list up since I've played this game, but this game comes out pretty good. I think the matchup is interesting, and I think that something that you'll see in this video is that there's certain techs that Trevor especially plays that, I mean, Trevor started playing in '09. He's a pretty proficient 2009 player. He knows the format considerably well. And there's some really good plays that he does that like are unique to the format, so they're very interesting, and I'll try to point them out when they come up. But I do remember he had some really, really cool, like, in knowledge plays this game. Let's go for the flip. Starting an Uxie to a Baltoy. Trevor's going to go first, goes for his draw. Baltoy's an okay starter because you can always just Psychic, is it Bounce? Whatever it is. Yeah, whatever. Psychic something. The one that like draws you cards, which is like probably what Trev is about to do. Can't always get a lot of turns. Can't like play anything. Doesn't really look like he's got much in his hand. I mean, a turn. He's got something if he starts getting like an SP Pokemon and some energy, but hand looks not the greatest. Didn't see a supporter in there. Oh, just goes for a pass. I think we're probably at equal. Yeah, because he drew attached and then equal cards. I'm going to go for a bench. I think I bench a... Oh, I go for Bebe, yeah. Bebe's such a good card, just being able to get any Pokemon. If I have like an energy here, I have a couple options. I could Psychic Restore, but I could also just attach Retreat and then pitch Dark. That's not a bad idea as well. Being able to hit any deck before they have a chance to use trainer cards or stadium cards is pretty good. Especially a deck like Beast that definitely plays BTS. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember if Ghastly locks stadiums. Actually, I don't think it does. I think it just locks trainers, which is like still good, but... I'm gonna go for another Ux. Not even any of this. This game was a while ago, so I don't 100% remember. That's the spicy commentary that you're gonna get because I think we played this game like 2 months ago, and so much stuff happens. Ooh, double Pokedraw. Let's go. So Pokedraw is a really hot part of this deck that I took out for some other cards. But I think Pokedraw is so spicy. You can like play Pokedraw, and I think this deck plays like Pokedex 9-10 as well, which is like another card that just like finds you cards. So if you can like find your Pokedrawers and then you just hit your combos, you can just go like, my hand is like really mediocre, which is what happens here. I remember this game now. So like I hit 2 Pokedrawers and I had nothing. I hit the Uxie, set up for 1, and I had a Pokedraw and I hit the other Pokedraw off. Actually, no, I Uxed for 2 and I had nothing. I had like a bunch of I had like a Haunter and a Gengar, but I didn't have anything like the Broken Time Space or the Ghastlies. And then I drew double Pokedraw off of the Uxie for 2, which is like what a nut. Like literally draw 2 cards and you hit double Pokedraw. This is pretty much the best you can draw if you play it in your deck. So go for 2 mystery cards, and you don't have to show them the cards. You're like, I'm just gonna play these 2 cards. And my hand was like so bad without the Ghastly and the BTS, but with it, like I think I just drop a Gengar this turn, which is like really, really effective. A solid turn 1. So you're going to drop the BTS, makes a lot of sense. With the Baltoy and the Claydol, yep, that also makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I remember that. I think I might have got one of those pieces with the Pokedraw. I don't particularly remember. Something that I try to do is, like, you don't show your opponent anything, like, before you go for the Pokedraw. I could have benched the Baltoy. I don't know if I had it, but if I did, like, you don't show them anything, and then, like, you know, if you do eventually hit the Pokedraw, it's like they might have a disrupt. But yeah, that's a pretty disgusting turn 1, like BTS into Claydol, Gengar, I don't know, like, but I was missing, I think I might have been missing the basics is what I was missing, maybe, or the energy, I don't know, who knows. I might have just, like, guessed that I could, like, hit the energy off the Claydol, because if I, like, yeah, drop the G2. It doesn't really matter, but you want to thin it out of your deck just because you don't want to draw it again. Same with that. Oh, bust. Into the energy. It's pretty good. That's like all you really wanted at that turn. I think I might already used the Claydol then and still missed off the Claydol, but then hit off the Pokedraw. Pretty nut bust, to be honest. Yeah. So board's looking definitely really solid on my side. Trevor does hit a Cyrus Conspiracy, which means he's gonna at least start hitting some supporters here. I mean, I guess he had a supporter in his turn hand. This is probably it. But Cyrus is a really good setup card, especially like you can just Cyrus for a Zen and then all of a sudden, or maybe he's gonna get a baby to get Claydol. It really depends what's in his hand and what he needs. But he'll guaranteed get a Claydol next turn. The thing is, can he get a Claydol in an unknown G? Because otherwise, Shadow Room does significant damage to that card. And like that's one of the reasons I just instinctively unknown to Claydol, because it's like, well, if something's gonna happen to a Pokemon that's an effect, I don't want Claydol to be that Pokemon. Yeah, she's a very interesting card, and I think we see Trevor use G later in the game, and for him to not just like automatically G something that's not getting threatened, I think, Trevor just like knows how to play, and he makes a really cool play that I remember that's gonna come up in a little bit here. Is going for Cyrus, still thinking. Cyrus is such an interesting card. You have to pick 3 cards. I think it's like the most decision heavy card in probably that's been printed, because every time you search, you have to search for 3 different cards of different types, and it's like you have to search your deck for like all of your options, and it's like what do I want based on the board? What do I want? Oh, he's just grabbing a Cynthia's feeling so interesting. He's like thinking that I might knock him out next turn, which I mean is very possible. He's got like a turn and stuff in his hand, and a Cynthia's too now that I know, and I only need 2 to knock him out. I just need to find like an unknown Q and an energy, and then I can go for the Poltergeist for the knockout, and he grabs a bat with the SP radar. Interesting option. Don't have a Nidoqueen yet on the board, so there could be some bat pings that come up. There's a pretty thick Nidoqueen line in this deck. A 2/1/2 makes for good healing, especially with a Gengar's for retreat. It's so good to just be able to tick, heal, and then you just like free retreat between your Gengars and heal over time with Nidoqueen. I actually edited this list. I think I made it a little bit slower, but like you still play Broken Time Space and stuff, but it's just like a little less like sacky with Pokédrawers and Pokédexes. But I just played like a Dusknoir line as well, because I think Dusknoir is like really, really good. And I also play a second Night Minutes, because I think playing as many Fanning Spell Gengars as you can, like if you get 4 coin flips on Gengars in a game, that's pretty good. But if you get 5, that means like you win the 50-50s, so you go like, okay, like let's say I get 4 Fanning Spell flips, it's probably going to be something around like, oh, he goes for the attach on the Crobat. This is interesting. I'm not quite sure. He's trying to get the most that he can with the Claydol. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you, as soon as you like force the 5th one, because it goes like you win like 2 out of 4 with that, right? So you win like 50-50 of the time. It's like a coin flip. So you win like 2 out of 4, get 2 prizes, and then you flip another one. There's like you put another 50-50 into play, because you're playing your odds. You go 4 till 5, and then you're like, I'm playing again. I'm playing the Fanning Spell game again, and then like that's another 50-50 you could win, and then all of a sudden half of your prizes are coming from Fanning Spells. And if you can take 3 prizes off like Shadow Room and Poltergeist, that's so easy to take 3 prizes in a game. 4 can be a little bit of a push, especially in this format, because there's not like a ton of power if your opponent is really good with Poltergeist, because if you're playing a good opponent, they're just gonna like play trainers out of their hand and like play their hand so that they don't get blown up on turns that they don't want to get blown up. Yeah, definitely some interesting options you can play with this deck. Goes for the Azelf Time Walk. That's something in the prizes. So Starter is attached for turn with a Crobat. He's going to retreat into the Azelf. I think that's pretty good. I wonder if he like... Oh, he Poke-turned the bat so that he got the trainers out of his hand, which is like pretty good, but also... Yeah. I guess in this matchup, that's just what you got to do. I don't keep the grasses in case he wants to turn it later. He can just turn the bat again if he wants to. Smart. I think that's actually very good. Yeah, so I'm going to go for the Claydol. Draw some cards, see what we get off the draw, and then make some decisions. Really want to find like a Roseanne's. Call's like okay too. Not the best, but also not the worst. If there was like Extra Belt, it isn't in this format, but that'd be sick. Just be able to knock the Azelf and be quite cool. Actually, I don't have a knocks. I think it's like plus 20. It might be plus 30. I don't remember. I'm look it up right now. It's too small on the video to see. I put all the cards up after post. That's in post. Spoilers. Oh, and I do find the Nidoran though, so that's pretty good. Finding the Nidoran, big part of the deck, and another Ghastly as well. So I'm chilling right now. I just like, Psychic. Probably gonna Psychic Restore. I don't even remember if I put it under. Not sure which is the best. I mean, he doesn't. He plays multi, so I guess he could lock up, but like that's not really matter because you can just Psychic Restore again, and then you lose. He loses, and then you put up a Feigning Spell Gengar, and you have time to get a second Gengar. And at that point, like you kind of almost want it to die because you can't really survive. Like 2 Uxies on the bench is a lot, especially when you want to rotate 3 Gengars and a Nidoqueen optimally. Like you want to find 3 bench slots for your Ghastlies and Gengar so that you can heal 60s because 60 is a really important number. Like in this format, there's a lot of 2-shots, so they like hit you for 60. Not this deck in particular. Beedrill just like smokes you for 1-shots, but there are a lot of 2-shot decks, so being able to heal that 60 is an important number. So he's got his first Beedrill into play, not the Flutterwings though, which is usually the one that you want. Unfortunately, not the one in his hand. But getting his first Beedrill into play means starting to get going a little bit, and he has the bat with the energy on it. So as soon as he finds a Poketurn or a Cyrus, he can hit that, and then he goes for the Claydol for 5. Gonna draw 5 cards. Pretty good Claydol. So I guess I passed that turn with the call. Oh, no, I called. Yeah, so dumb. So dumb. That's what I did. Yeah, that makes sense. Call Energy, really good card. Yeah, got the Gasoline in the Nidoran, really solid. And then he does get that Poketurn, so he gets the grass back on the Beedrill. That's really solid. And also freeing that bench space up for another Weedle for eventually a Beedrill is going to mean his max damage output is going to be buffed. I think 2009 is a really bench-specific format. If you do not play your bench appropriately, you can get punished really hard, especially by decks that play like Dust Noir or stuff that like picks off small Pokemon, and like you're playing stage 2s and you drop a bunch of Pokemon you don't need to against like a Luxray, and then they can just like flash impact you, and then you just lose the game. There's a lot of you have to be very effective with your bench, otherwise you can get punished by a lot of decks. Both of these decks can definitely do that, especially the card that Trev is taking a peek at right there, the Shadow Room Gengar. Can if you get too many Pokemon with powers into play, it can just like pop, and then you just like hit a bunch of different ones, and then take your prizes off of Fading Spells later in the game. Or like also Poltergeist. Like there's so many options that you have once you have a bunch of damage on their board, because you can start killing with Poltergeist and stuff. What you really want to do is, as the Gengar player, Shadow Room the Flutterwings Beedrill, because as soon as you kill their Flutterwings Beedrill, it makes them harder to get Beedrills like back into play, and then like their active Beedrill is forced to like kill the Gengar, and then you take the 50-50 on the Fading Spell, and if you lose the 50-50 whatever, you can just like snipe the other or snipe the Beedrill with the other Gengar that you have, and yeah, gets blown up. I play a Warp Point, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I played a Warp Point into Baltoy. Yeah, and Baltoy got blown up. Makes sense. So he's got that one Beedrill, and there's a BTS in play too. I mean, I played a BTS. I had to because that hand was way too good not to play BTS, but it also is really advantageous for Beedrill to have Broken Time and Space in play. Broken Time Space, such a good card. Just you can evolve as much as you want in your turn. Such a very, very effective card. Trevor goes for a Bebe Search. He's in a pretty good position. I mean, if he's got a Kakuna or a Beedrill Flutterwings in his hand, it means he can get like another Weedle, which means like it's me 60 this turn, and then next turn he can like kill me, but maybe, I don't know, might have something tricky up his sleeve if he still has a lot of his Poketurns and that bat left. I don't remember if he discarded it or kept it. I think he probably kept it. Oh yeah, I went for the Candy Beedrill. It's definitely solid play. He gets that Flutterwings for the Weedle. And then if he's got another Candy Beedrill, he can get it, or a Kakuna Beedrill, you can get it. Or if he had that Weedle and he's Flutterwingsing for the Kakuna or the Beedrill, I don't really know. I don't know if that was his Flutterwings. His deck was kind of off camera. Yeah, got that Flutterwings Beedrill into play. Really, really important card of the deck. Being able to find your Beedrills after they get knocked out is vital, especially in this matchup when a Fading Spell can just take you out. Does go for that Beedrill. Oh, and I hit the Queen already, so it's not a massive deal. And I already have another Gengar in play as well, so I can start attaching to that next turn. This Gengar can go down, not optimal, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you like your Gengars to die. So I think playing the second Night Maintenance, just because you're like, I don't want to lose any prizes that I can't potentially make it back 50-50 on, so why not play another second Night Maintenance? Because it's just like, you can get knocked out and be like, okay, well, I can just play whatever I want into the late game now, and I'm not worried about getting milled by Flygon, and I'm not worried about like my resources, because I have like literally enough for 6 Gengars if I want. 6? Yeah, 6 Gengars, which is like loads and loads of Gengars if you don't have anything fresh, or you can just Azel for your candies and haunters and stuff. Yeah, try. Oh, we got the second Flutterwings. That's really solid. Wow, what a good draw off the Claydol. That's really good. Fairy Spell Tails. That's tough because I don't have another energy in play, so that is not optimal. But on the flip side, I got another. At least I got Fairy Spell in play, so if he decides to be able to take me out next turn, I can chill with it. Really unfortunate I got the Tails 50-50 though, so hopefully the next one will be a heads. I got another Gengar in play, so we'll see if we can get another Fading Spell off. Worst case with this deck, it's kind of nice because if you just like miss the knockout, then you can just like take a Fading Spell flip and be like, am I feeling lucky, punk? I don't know. And then you go for the flip and you see what the gods decide for that day for you. Sometimes they say, you're it, bud. You're the chosen one. And then sometimes they say, it's not your day, dude. And that's just the way it goes. Fading Spell is such a like Pokemon deck, because I think coin flips are so like, that's the only thing that's like kind of silly about Pokemon I find sometimes, is like cards that are coin flips, because it feels not skill based, but like also they have to balance. I understand, but it's just like this card is like, it seems silly because you can get like 5 Fading Spells in a game and then just like win off 1 or 2 attacks, which is like insane. But, yeah, gonna go for a Shadow Room. Trevor's like, which one? And I'm like, don't know which one. Which Flutterwings? Doesn't really matter because neither of them have energy. But I got another Haunter to play as well, and I'm finding a Roseanne. So actually, I don't get a Shadow Room because I don't have the. Actually, I do, yeah, because I have the Psychic. Yeah. So I got the Psychic, got a second Psychic. I got the Haunter too. Yeah. I hit the Night Mantis as well. So I mean, this is looking pretty good. I got some more Gengars for later in the game. We're tied on prizes right now too, so it's like whenever you're tied on prizes with Gengar, that's where you want to be, because you can take prizes and then also just take Fading Spells, so your odds are good. This is good as well. Gonna go for the Shadow Room on the Flutterwings, and it's nice because Trev doesn't have a bench spot right now, so he doesn't have an option that's really good. But I think he might, if you can poke a turn and then have that option. We'll discuss it because I think low-key spoiler happens. So yeah, go for the Shadow Room on the Beedrill. It's a solid. I mean, you have to take out the setup Pokemon if you want to stop the. Oh, go for the Claydol instead. Interesting. I mean, nah, I think I change it back because I think the Flutterwings is actually just better. Yeah. Oh, maybe I keep it on the Claydol. I don't know. Who knows? I don't think it really matters though, because the play that he does, it might, but. I don't remember. The play is like Unknown G, because you can Unknown G and then the Shadow Room like doesn't have the effect. But yeah, I mean Claydol's like okay because it's only like 1, so getting rid of 1 Claydol. But that's the thing about Beedrill, is like anything that you kill it's not a Beedrill is like, well, I now just have that bench spot for Beedrill. So I think that honestly hitting the Flutterwings probably would have been better looking back over this game. I think that if I were to replay, I mean, I've played a little bit more of this format now, but I think that hitting the Flutterwings is really important because you also don't open up that bench spot for another Beedrill. Now that he has 2 Flutterwings, you can just go like, oh, Kakuna, Weedrill, Beedrill, or whatever missing part that he has in his hand, he can just search for the other 2 parts, and it's like not optimal because then you start getting 1 shot for 1 energy, which is like misplay territory. And you might already have that option anyway, but you don't want to make that option easier for them. You know, like you want to force them to hit the Poké turn to bring Crobat up to have that bench spot available. But he's gonna go for the Flutterwings here, and I think he's got the Beedrill in his hand, so he can just like Flutterwings for whatever he likes, whatever he desires. Guess the Beedrill and I think whatever Kakuna, the other part of the line, probably's got a Weedle in his hand. That means gotta go for the turn. Unknown G, pretend like he benched it. But you can essentially dodge it as long as you have a bench well. So he does G the Claydol, and this is the really cool play because you G the Claydol, and then essentially he just wasted my last turn. So I mean that would have happened either way with the Beedrill or the Claydol, and he already hit the Beedrill this turn anyway, so like it didn't really matter. But that doesn't make it like not a misplay. I think it was still correct to go for the Beedrill. He would have got it, but if he hadn't have taking out a Beedrill and forcing him to hit the Poké turn, it would have been better, I think. He does hit that other Beedrill and the other energy too. So I mean, Trevor's chilling right now. He's gonna hit me, and then he's got the bat in his hand too. So I think he might have 1 more Poké turn left as well. So he can hit another knock on my other Gengar, which would be quite unfortunate. But kind of depends on what I flip here. If I flip heads, I'm chilling. If I flip tails, it's not so good in the hood. And that's a tails again. Never lucky. That is, yeah. Anything in 2009, I feel the tails flips hit me like a fair amount. Like super scoop up. I don't know. Whenever I super scoop up, it's just like Trevor is saying that's one card that he like always he's like 75-25 on tails heads with like super scoop up, and I totally agree. That's like way too good of a card to have a 50-50 in the universe. Is like nah. That's like you have to flip 2 coins to get 2 heads. Yeah, so kills the Gengar, and I do have the other energy, so I mean I'm gonna attack the Beedrill, and he doesn't have a spot to put the guard now, which is like also good. So I'm just praying for another Feigning Spell hits here because I have a Cynthia, so I have some stuff, but I would really like knock it on a Beedrill within 2 turns. So I mean if I can Flutter Wings 1 and then or hit 1 Flutter Wings, take the Feigning Spell, and then draw into another Gengar line off of this Cynthia / Claydol, which is like 8 cards, and then depending on how much I hit, I could also hit like Poke Turns to pick up the bat to get like another Gar, and then hit the Flutter Wings, and then he goes down to 90, and then I can start I hit 2-shot on the other Beedrill if he doesn't have the recovery. But Trevor's like already in a really good position, so he's probably already like just holding the Night Maintenance in his hand for when he gets knocked out. I think that's one of the really good strategy because you can do as Beedrill in this matchup is play the like consistent conservative. I'm gonna hold my Night Maintenance for the turn that I get knocked out, and then I'm gonna Night Maintenance, and then I'm gonna Flutter Wings for those parts that I don't have in my hand, and then hit the Beedrill again. Like I'm not gonna I've misplayed this deck just because I hadn't played it before, and I just like Night Maintenance. I think it was like a Luxray part that I was like, I could just Night Maintenance this. Like I just like could use it again, but like I ended up not using it, and I like really could use that Night Maintenance later, which was like really, it was unfortunate because I think it ended up like impacting a game that I was playing, and I think I might have lost it. But like that's just the thing is like I didn't know the matchup, so I didn't know, but now you know to definitely do that. So hit the Flutter Wings Beedrill for 60. And definitely going to get knocked this turn. That's the thing about Speedrill is like it just gets set up so fast, and it's like boom. And he hits the Poke Turn. Poke Turn into... Oh no, he didn't hit the Poke Turn. That was the last turn. I thought he was Poke Turning the Beedrill, but he was just reorganizing it. And I was like, wait, why are you Poke Turning the Beedrill? I thought it was the Crobat for some reason. Who knows? He's not playing super scoop ups, although that would kind of be spicy. Yeah, go for the lightning attach on the Needle Shock. You never know. Needle Shock having the poison effect. Like you can just line it up with Nidoqueen numbers that it's like paralyzed poison. Actually, I forget if it's like poison too. It might just be paralyzed. No, I think it's poison as well. Which is like if it does have that option. Either way, the Kakuna has that option as well, depending on which Kakuna you play. You have 2 options. I think a split is actually kind of good because having the poison for 1, like 10 damage and poison is like kind of good because you can go 90 on something and then like 10 damage and poison, and they take like 110, which like kills a lot of stage 2s in this format. But yeah, definitely a decent option to know that you have against Gengar, because if the poison goes through, it means that Feigning Spell doesn't activate because it didn't get knocked out from damage, got knocked out from poison in between turns. So did not. It's a little sneak around the rules there that you can do, and I think poison is a really good effect that you can know that you have in this matchup, especially. I mean, he's already got the attachments on the other Beedrill, so what else is he going to do? May as well attach to the Flutter Wings. Hits the Feigning Spell. Oh, for 3, dude. Yeah. I mean, sometimes the universe just like says you're going to flip so many tails, and you just have to say okay. And I think even if I hit like 1 heads, I think I like might have been able to make the comeback, but that's really rough when you're like playing a deck that's like, I'm gonna hope to hit, like if I'm playing 4 Feigning Spells, you can usually reliably hit like 1 in a game. 2 is like a good game, but 1 is like, you can be like, I'll probably hit 1 in a game. And when you get like 0 for 3, you're like, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like Luxury Ball for a Ghastly because man, I'm playing my 4 out of 4, and if I don't hit my 4, I'm gonna be a little bit upset because that means I just flipped. Was that 50, 25, 12.5, 6, 1, 12 or something? I don't know. 6, some small a fraction that should not happen on the Feigning Spell. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going in Candy Gengar. Let me roll the dice. Uno mas. One more dice roll, please. and hopefully go for this. I don't know if I have the energy. Hitting the energy would be clutch. Being able to kill that Beedrill would be sweet. I do have the Fear Treat, Crobat in the active, which is quite cool. Yeah, so the Crobat, I flash bit the Claydol just because I knew if I found a Poketurn, I could be able to just KO it. Because G stops effects of attack, but not Poke powers, and Bat is a power, so you can just snipe it like that. I go for a looker, see what he's got. Interesting hand. Oh, yeah, he's got a pretty good hand. I'm probably going to force him to shuffle that. Yeah. Cynthia's Night Maintenance. That's a real good hand. And a War Point. And a Kakuna. Like, he's there. And, yeah, 2 Kakunas here. And the Night Maintenance. I mean, he's already got the setup. Unless I hit the energy to knock out this turn. And I think I don't have the... energy yet. But I Claydol to hit the energy. And it's like... I just need to hit the energy off the Claydol. Because if... Yeah, there we go. Hit it, which is really good. Because if you let him have that hand, it doesn't even matter. He's up on prizes right now. He's 3 to 5. I have to force him into a hand that's like, hey, like you have to not have the automatic return. And he had the return in the hand, right? Like he had Kakuna, Night Maintenance, and that's it. That's all you need. So hopefully hit him to 5, and hopefully he doesn't draw a Night Maintenance option. I mean, we'll see what he's got, or like the Pokemon option. I don't think you can just like leave your opponent with a hand like that. So I go for the knockout and the Flutter Wing. So that's nice. And he doesn't have the Night Maintenance in his hand, so he's got to top it or have it off the lookers, which he might have. Let's see what he's got. So there's a lot of things he could have. I mean, if he's just like rod into it. He could have just like drawn it off the lookers too. Who knows? See what he's got. So he hits the maintenance, which is pretty much what you need. And then he's also going to have 1 Flutter Wings guaranteed. So if he's got like, it depends what he's got in his hand, but if he's got like Bebes, he can like Bebes a card, hit the Weedle or the Kakuna if he's got another piece in his hand. Go for the Flutter. Yeah, so he goes for the Bebes. Bebes a card back. And then he also has the Claydol after. So he can go for the base parts, and then if like worst case, just prey off of the Bebe, and worst case hit for 90, which is like not so bad either. It's like kind of suck, but you really want to hit the Beedrill. That's really clutch if you can hit the Beedrill. Oh, so he goes for a Roseanne instead. Interesting. And I think the Roseanne is probably, well, who knows? I mean, getting the guaranteed energy, that would takes a card out of your deck as well. Yeah, there you go. So he's going for the attach as well, which means you take a card out of your deck so that when you Claydol, it's just one less card that's not the Beedrill. So yeah, I mean, that's just intelligent, Trevor. One less card in the deck is... It's one. You're upping your odds by 1. Like you're taking a card out of the deck that you don't want to draw into. So very smart. I mean, you're putting a card back with the Bebe too, which is like take 2 out. May as well. Who knows? He might even already just have it. Oh no, because he hasn't drawn yet. So you'd have to draw it off the Claydol because he Night Maintenance it. He did it though. Still, it's very possible. Yeah, go for the Claydol. Claydol's for like 4. See if you can draw it. If he draws a Kakuna too, he hits it because he has a Flutter Wing still. Flutter Wings, yeah. Gonna go find a Kakuna, and he's probably got the Beedrill in the hand, or maybe he whiffed. Who knows? I just have to get the Beedrill next turn. I'm crossing my fingers, praying. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Probably something to do. Nidoqueen. Where did the bad damage go on the Claydol? Who knows? Nidoqueen. I don't know. He's been healing. Nidoqueen's definitely been healing. That lookers was really important. If I missed that lookers, like, I mean, it doesn't really matter because he hit it anyway. He might still hit the Beedrill this turn. I don't remember if he whiffs. If he hits, it didn't matter. But if he whiffs, then it definitely affects. I mean, the fact that he's even like having to search right now, he like already had it. So. Gotta go. I don't think he has it. He would have played it by domino if he had it. So I mean that's good for me. I'm getting hit for 90, which is effective. Interesting setup. I mean, I'm down a prize right now because honestly, one of those I should be tied because if I flipped a feigning spell, that would have been really clutch. So I got hit for 90, which is like nice. I knew that was gonna happen. I don't know what took so long on that 90 to side. So I get hit for 90, and 100, I guess. Oh yeah, 80. Why 80? Oh, because the Nita Queen. Right. That makes sense. Yeah. So he missed, which is really nice. But I think that like the board position would have been even better if I flipped like one of those 50-50s and like would have been really clutch because then we would have been tied on prizes and then I could go like KO this turn and then if I found a poke turn next turn I could take another KO on the Claydol and then you can go like KO on the Beedrill, KO on the Claydol, and now you like might not be able to set up your other Beedrill this turn as well. So like you might not be able to hit the 4 Beedrill for the 120 for the knockout. You might have to hit 90, which is like clutch because I can just retreat that. And then if you're on 3 guards, this is where the Mother or the Nita Queen comes into play a lot is when you get 3 Gengars. I don't have 3 on the board right now because I had to Uxie and Bat and stuff. But when you get 3, you take the 60 and then you go 1-1-1 and then you like have that turn where you don't get knocked out into the attack, which is really nice. But lookers again and shuffling again or keeping it. I think keep it. Guess I'm going for the Poltergeist this turn. Yeah, right. I don't know. I went for the attach. I guess I had the attach last turn. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to my attaches. I was too busy ranting about Beedrill number odds. I know Trevor's really effective at hitting him. I mean, he did the maximum effectiveness. The Roseanne's to take out 2 cards was really good. And then like Flutterwings, because you draw into one of the pieces, and then you Flutterwings for the other one based on which of the one you draw. And he did really proper sequencing. Beedrill's a really interesting deck if you want to get your sequencing well, because you have to Flutterwings for the appropriate Pokemon, and you have to do the right things based on your hand to draw the right amount of cards and do it in the right order to optimize your Beedrill draw. And if you do that incorrectly, it just like lowers your odds of hitting it. You could still sack and hit it, but you may as well play optimally, right? And he was playing really well the entire game, playing super effectively. Does have that other Beedrill, so he's going to chuck that up. See what he's got. He's got the Flutterwings for the other Beedrills, well, so he's at least hitting for 90. He's at least going to go for the knockout. And I do go for the Poltergeist KO. So definitely sick. And then I might be able to get this feigning spell as well. And Nita Queen's an interesting attacker. She can hit for 10. And then if she has 2 colorless and a psychic, she can hit for 50 plus 10 for each your opponent's bench. And Beedrill's got a pretty fat bench, so Nita Queen can just like 2-shot stuff. Alternatively, it can get 1-shot by Beedrill if it hits the board. But I mean, really depends what Trevor's able to set up on his board right now. He's probably gonna go for the Flutterwings and then go for the other Weedle if he's got a Night Maintenance. Like he's got so many options right now. Beedrill's just so good at recovering. Flutterwings is such a good ability. Really strong power. So going for the Nita Queen heal. Tied it up. I mean, we're 3-on-3 on prizes. This game is going to come down to feigning spells, and if like I've already used my Night Maintenance, the thing is Gengar, like I've already used my Night Maintenance right now, right? So at this point in the game, when you're like, okay, I would really like to have one more you just always want more feigning spell flips. So like when you look for another feigning spell flip, you with a second maintenance, you can just hit that flip almost all the time if you want. Or you get the Pokemon recovery too, but you also get to be like, I choose to play 5 or 6 Gengars this game instead of 4 or 5 or 3 because I had lines prized or like wasn't able to, or one of my Ghastlies got knocked out or whatever, you know. And I think that Dusknoir is really good. It'd be so good in this matchup, especially. But I think it's just good in almost every matchup, being able to Dusknoir, and then take your opponent's bench and hit him with a surprise Dusknoir, especially because this deck doesn't usually play Dusknoir. So you can just like hold the Duskull. You don't drop the Duskull until like your opponent. It depends what you want to do. You can drop the Duskull and like threaten them and just say, hey, like I'm going to drop Dusknoir if you overbench. Or you can just like hold it, wait until they overbench, and then go Duskull Candy Dusknoir, because there's not a ton of hand disruption. I mean, this MotherGar plays lookers, but there's not a ton of hand disruption aside from that in this format. So being able to hold on to that and then have that is a very good option, I think. And Dusknoir not only is a good option, but like it's so like head gamey too. Like I don't know, I just have so much fun with Dusknoir because I can be like, I don't want to play it before you drop, and then I'm going to punish you. Because, like, you can do that to good players. You can, like, just not even, like, show them that you play Dusknoir. Because good players, as soon as they see a Duskull, they can keep their bench limited to 3, and then they don't get punished for it. But, like, that's an amount of control that you have with the Duskull. And the Dusknoir is, like, it just forces some situations. Because you say, okay, you're going to have 3 bench. I'm going to start taking knockouts on your bench Pokemon, and then when you kill me with your active, I'm going to Feigning Spell, maybe. And then as soon as you're getting double knocked out, it's like I got another Gengar with another Feigning Spell, and I'm going to take another 60 on another Claydol you have on the bench. And if you're not, like, benching lots of Pokemon, like, you have you can potentially just get benched out of a Lookers. Like, you get Lookers into nothing, and then you get, like, benched. Or, like, Poltergeist can just hit you for so much that you get so far behind that Feigning Spells just never... Like, if you flip a ton of Feigning Spell heads, this deck can get so far behind. Trevor's going to go for another Claydol, hopefully hit. I mean, he can't really hit anything. He's just going to suffice for the 90, which is super fine. Because I don't really have any other Ghastly pieces on the board. I don't even know if I have any other ones in deck. I might have some in deck, but... Okay, hit the first heads. There we go. We're in it. We're playing the feud. There we go. Tied up on prizes. Boom. He takes a prize, I take a prize. But the thing is, like, I'm out of Feigning Spells now. So, like, if I could do this again, maybe get another Feigning Spell heads and hit that Claydol for 60, that would be, I'd be pretty into that. Yeah. There's two ways to play the Mothergar deck, I think. And it's, like, you either play the slower, like, this deck's playing, like, Pokedrawers and, like, cards that, like, draw you cards. You're like, wow, fast Feigning Spell Gengar, hit you for 60s and 30 pings. Or you can play a little slower and be like, I have options, and I have late game options and recovery, and a Dusknoir that can control my opponent's board a little bit, and, you know, I don't know. I think the conservative option version of the deck might be better. I have to test a little bit more, but I feel like having Dusknoir and that second night maintenance especially is, like, I think the second night maintenance is really good. Just, man, Feigning Spell is such a good ability. But you have to, the more you play the odds game, the more chances you have to just, like, hit the heads, you know. If you're flipping it 6 times, it's odds you get 3. That's so good. Like, that's amazing. Go for the Crobat. So this is Deese, I guess. So I'm going to take a prize off the Claydol. I don't think I have, like... Yeah, I don't think I have, like, another... Ghastly then at that point. If I'm, like, batting, well, maybe I do, I'm not sure, because this is an old list. I didn't play, I had, like, this is 2 bat 1 Poketurn, but I, like, changed the list up to play 2 Poketurn 1 bat, because I think the bench space is, like, too valuable in this situation, especially. Like, I need this spot for a Ghastly, for, like, Feigning Spell to hit, maybe, like, you know, Poketurn and then ping on the Azelf, kill the Azelf, you know, because hitting the ping is what's important. It's, you need the bench space, but the Poketurn gives you the ping as soon as you have the Crobat in play. Like, they have no reason to really kill the Crobat unless you force them to. So yeah, definitely no Ghastly in play is bad news bears. I don't know how I'm gonna take this last prize without a Ghastly. I guess I'm gonna charge up this Nidoqueen and punch for 40 and get paralyzed, unless I have, like, a warp in my hand, which I could, because I can warp into Uks at that point. But then I'm, like, attacking something that's not the Beedrill either. And as soon as, like, they're both Flutterwings Beedrills. Oh, okay, so this is interesting. Taking the Uks. And the Uks is good because it opens up a bench spot for... okay, I mean, Uks is okay too. I hit it for 40. The Nidoqueen is fine as well. I guess that's okay too. But now I'm just going to get paralyzed. I think the Uks into deck. And this is why the turn is good, because you can go, like... Oh, yeah. Gratata. So we just had that in hand before the Flutterwings. And now he's going to Flutterwings for the other 2 parts. Thinning the G. Also making it so that Flutterwings, because that's a Beedrill that's, like, threatened right now. That one can't be double Poketurned into Shadow Room for game or something. You never know what your opponent has, so you may as well play against it. And Trevor is just like, I'm going to safe D-play this G, because I really... this is the Beedrill that might go down, and I really don't want to go down. So you can paralyze and then retreat if he has the energy. But he's got to find, like... What does he got to find? He's got to find... like, another energy, and then next turn he's got to find a maintenance, because he's, like, almost all out of energy, and then get the energy back and then get it again, which is, like, possible. You have Roseanne's, and Claydol definitely can do that if he's gonna Needle Shock me anyway. I think Needle Shock into Twin Needle is, like, okay, because then you can go... It doesn't really matter. I mean, he just needs to hit the 4th Beedrill. He's leaving the slot open for it. So as soon as he hits the 4th Beedrill, he'll get that dub. Pretty much, because there's nothing you can really. Well, unless it's like you hit the Ghastly Gengar. With the Gengar, that's what I'm saying. You need the Gengar, because worst case you can tie the game, and then you can just like. That's where the conservative is bad though. In the best of one, when you tie the game and you go to a single prize, because that's how this like format worked back in the day. You just played best of ones, and then like if it went to a tie, like Feigning Spell flipped the same time and both Pokemon were knocked out, then it's like, you went to sudden death. So it was like kind of crazy. I'm pretty sure you went to sudden death anyway. That's like that makes sense that would go to sudden death. I might be just talking out of my butt right now, but I'm pretty sure that goes to sudden death, because I think it's like you activate the Feigning Spell before Gengar's knocked out because it's an ability, and then it's like Gengar gets knocked out. But if at the same time the opponent is knocked out, because that's like the end of the attack phase before end of turn phase where like prizes are drawn. That's like maybe, I don't know. So maybe someone leave a comment below if you know exactly what that is. I am not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure that would be they would go to like the single prize, like best of one game, but I'm not entirely sure if it would go to that, because the knockout, I don't know, that would make sense though. She's gonna go for maybe the retreat into 90. I feel like that's pretty good. Retreating in 90 is pretty solid, but at the same time, it's like, if I just had like an upper energy, that'd be so sick. There's no upper in this deck, so I just like, I'm gonna be slow. Maybe I should just retreat, or like have a switch out. Maybe like a Warp Point would be clutch for the Nidoqueen to be able to get it out of there. That'd be good. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna get hit, and if I could retreat, I can sack something for a turn and then have enough to knock out, because if I have 2 energy on it, then I can Ruthless Tail for 160 plus 10, 110, I think. So that knocks up Beedrill, and if I could do that, then I win the game. So that's kind of my win condition right now. I could also no, that's it. I mean, I could get another Gengar to play and then Feigning Spell flip, but I don't think I have another Gengar. I might, but I don't think I do. That's an interesting attach. I must not have to switch out, because, yeah. That sucks, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, Trev's going to go for the Luxray bench, too. That's really good. That's really effective. As soon as he's able to... I mean, he plays a Crobat, and I think he's only dropped... Well, he's dropped some. He's got some poker turns gone, too, actually. So maybe he'll not be able to get the ping, but if he gets the Crobat, yeah, I can just bring it up and then kill it, because Crobat's weak to lightning. So you can definitely just zap that guy and he dies. So that's probably Trev's, like, what he's thinking his path to victory is here. Like, he kills his Nidoqueen, and then he can just Lux and kill something else if this Beedrill gets threatened, because he can't like offer up another prize for a game. He has to like retreat off his one prizers that are getting threatened right now. One prizers. This deck is that's the cool thing about this format. It's all one prizers. I'm just like talking about one prizers because I've been talking about EX Pokemon so much lately. Actually, I've been doing a lot of 2009, so I guess that's like only partially true. I've been playing a lot of EX Pokemon lately. That's what I should say. I have been playing a little bit more. 2006, sick format. So Trev's going to go for a draw on the Claydol. Hit the E-Gain on the Lux. That's really good too. Now all he needs is a multi. As soon as he hits a multi, he's able to pop that bat in multi and the level X, of course. But as soon as he hits that, if he kills this Nidoqueen, which he will, then, I mean, my only option is the Crobat, unless I like... Even though I just like chuck the Gengar up, he's just going to Luxray the Crobat. And then it doesn't even matter. He like possibly has it in his hand already. He might just be holding on to it. I noticed that I didn't check my prizes before, because I think I Azelved. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was just cheating. Who knows? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I Azelved early in the game. Maybe I didn't. But if I didn't check the prizes, then good for me for not cheating. If I did, then I cheated and thought I had played Azelf. So I go for the Crobat, promote. Nidoran, not really what you want. But I mean, I guess a Nidoqueen's okay. This is like not really what you want, because he's just going to retreat, right? Like he has no option to stay active. He's obviously clearly planning the Luxray play for the end of the game, and if I don't have an option against it, then it's not really gonna. No, I don't really have anything to stop him really. As soon as he hits it, I mean that's his win con. I'm promoting the bat too, so it's like unless I actually just need to find Psychic off the Cynthia's so that I can Mega Punch with the Queen. You do attack with Queen a fair amount, especially in pinches in this deck, but I think that's like one of the better parts about 2-night maintenance too, is you can like afford to not attack with Queen. Like Queen attacking is okay. Ruthless Tail is good situationally if you can like steal a knockout and you have extra attaches for it. But like Gengar Shadow Room is like a much more cost-effective attack. Mega Punch, hit and punch, lol. Hit him for 40, and then he's just gonna retreat, so it's not really big impact. He's probably already got it here. He's probably just got the energy and then the Lux for Lux, Bright Look, up the Claydol, Poga Turn, the bat, or knockout with the sure hit it for weakness. Karatata. Yeah, so this has been Speedrill, kind of a Speedrill setup. Trevor did a really good job of showing how that deck played, and I played MotherGar, a deck that I think I'm going to post a list on my Twitter later about an updated list, because I think it's a really good deck, but there's not too many great cards with it. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.